The nice thing about this, I've seen people put bags of tools in here, just like a bag of wrenches, something, and it's always there. You leave your truck unlocked, who's going to tip your back seat up to look for tools hidden or anything?
Really nice to buy your truck and the tools are in it.
How do you think I knew?
What happened to the junkyard?
Yeah, I found stuff in here.
I did find 3 complete sets of seatbelts.
Okay, when we flip this seat over, this seat's going to be done. There will be a little edge trimming, stuff like that once you get it in place. Like this wire sticking down a little farther because the way this is, you'll have to cut them off. Once you put the seat in, you'll see a few little things. You might need another hog ring here or there. But you see the difference between that and, well, I'll bring the other half over here. And you see, it's not hard to cover the seat. But you can see, you can turn your old seat into something totally different. Or you can see, the problem with this is the one seat. That redoing it, you will never get this seat. Because this is a machine print that they stamped. They have 2 hot irons and they press them together. So you will never get it quite like this. You can do an inset, do these strips different, but you'll never get that.
Door panels.
Yes.
On travel, they're stamped. It's the same process as that.
There is a place that does just like the line stamping. They'll meld it together. Just because in one place in the country it does it. I've never dealt with them. I don't even remember what it was, but they'll do some of that stuff. But usually what I've done for door panels, you put 1/4-inch foam down on your panel board, and you cut the slots where you want that, and you glue it, you work that, and let that dry, and it's a real pain.
You cut the foam,
Yeah.
put glue in, and just kind of create the crease with the.
Yes. I've just been working on a 79 Scout.
So then when you cover that with the vinyl, how does that?
Vinyl is very hard to do with. The cloth is easier because it stretches and lays in. Vinyl, you can do like straight lines across it, but if you're really trying to like get a circle or something in it, you really have to sit there with a roller and work it and work it. And the glue, most of it's like pressure sensitive. You glue on both sides, wait a couple seconds, you put it together, but you have to just glue that area, work it in, then you pull the edge up and spray the higher. So the higher really doesn't need as much glue. But yeah, it takes a lot. But if you see these lines, this is what's also really hard to do. Directly across from each other. They're all spaced the same. Well, we're not going to say that, but they're almost always spaced the same. It's really hard when you're doing this to get this side and this side lined up. Especially because you see how this curves. So you have to measure down, get the same place, starting point, and work back and forth.
Is it tough to replace just the piping on the edge?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. The problem is, yeah, you can do it, but 90% of the time, your seat's going to fall back apart there within a month.
Is that right?
Because
It cracks on the sides.
Yeah, because your seats are 40-year-old seats, 35-year-old seats.
Yeah.
So it's not the piping that's cracking, it's the material. When you take that apart, you have 1 million little holes from sewing. If you re-sew in that same place, you're most likely going to hit right between those same holes. And you just created a perforation all
So
over.
if the piping's going and cracking, it's time to replace the whole.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, it depends. If your piping is getting hard and cracking, the vinyl will do the same thing. You can see this piping has a few cracks. You can see, I said that you can feel how hard the vinyl is compared to the new vinyl. It just, it happens. Now, I said it just depends on where you want to go. If you want to stay original, or and it could be between $600 to $800 difference in a set of seats going a new vinyl and something. Well, I just did one set. It was I think $1,400 with the factory material, and I did one with a different style material for $600. So yeah, it does, it's a big difference. It's a lot of labor, but it's still a real lot of material. Said that gold right there, well, that one wasn't bad. I think that was $65 a yard. And it said this stuff's between around $20 a yard. So there's a
That's a big difference.
big difference in that. And if I'm reordering the stuff I just ordered last week was $95 a yard. So yeah, it adds up real fast. Okay, we'll set this one over here. You happy? Awesome.
That's great.
Okay, we will cover his other half here shortly, but I brought a couple other things to show. This seat is for a friend of mine, and I did it in case Marty didn't show up to bring his seat and cover, just to get it done. This had, like you wanted it, the whole side here was cracked off. You can tell the vinyl isn't quite the same. This is just, I had the black laying around. It's for a driver he might want it. But the biggest mistake I made, see these two lines here? They need to be almost a ½ inch over that way. I would not send this C9 to anyone because of that. Now these, this is a scout piece. They are not hooked on cobwebs. They're somehow, there's a piece of rubber in here. It sits on here. The rubber is sewn to the seat. If anyone wants me to do a scout seat, I ask you to send me that piece of rubber. You can't get it. No one will remake it, can't find it. And all it does is it loops onto here. And then you stretch it back and hog ring across there. But I just brought it, I said in case he didn't have the seats here, I was gonna tear this apart and cover it. These seats are fun to do too. This is one of the ones where it takes a lot more material than you would think. This one I put a seam across the back, real quick, because the piece of material around here is one size. It's a big piece of material. Then the inset piece here is bigger than the hallway, so you have to use another piece of material for it. The side around here to here to here, you would think is a straight piece, but it's not. Because the curve here, this piece of material actually goes like this and curves way down here. So there's a lot more input. You'd say, oh, this seat will only take a yard of material. Or it's going to actually take almost 2 yards just to do this half of the seat. Because of that, then you have all the pieces around here. You have to make all the welding. There are some, you can buy some welding. But most of it's black, there's a maroon, there's, I think, 15 different colors. But when you set it beside your black, or beside it, like that color, you're not going to find it. So you're going to make it. So you have the core in the center of it, you have to run it on the machine, stitch the whole thing, then you have to lay it out. So that's another, you have to measure everything out you have. You have to start measuring what you have here, the whole way around to make that piece. Calculate at least 6 inches into it so you don't make a mistake. There's a lot of adding little things to it. Like this one here, this was a factory made welding. It looks almost the same as, it comes out almost the same. You don't know when it's in there. This is a little stiffer. Okay.
Where do you get that cord there? What is that?
It's a foam-based cord. I bought, well, you can do a couple different. That, I have like a 5,000 yards full of that. You can go to Joanne Fabrics and rope. I've used the rope. They make it a hollow vinyl. They make the foam or rope. I usually use the foam. I said that's also the thing like Miami Corporate stuff like that. But sometimes they won't sell just a little bit. They'll want you to buy a whole roll. It's not that big. I think it was $70 for the roll. But if you're just doing one seat, you don't want $70 on this. The thread I use, is that 2 pounds? It's like $55 for a spool of thread. And I have multiple pellets of that. It just adds up. Let's see, that was that.
Console.
Yeah. This is a little different setup because it has two consoles with it. And it is a tippable console. The other thing that when I send seats out, you'll probably have to do, there's a bolt that goes in here. Now, if I'm doing the whole seat at home, I cut the bolt out. But if I'm sending it to you, if you stretch this thing a ½ inch difference, even the size of the seats where the bolts go through, you're gonna have a hole that's covering nothing. So you just take a little razor blade or scissors and make a little notch around them. Because that's, as I said, there's a bolt that goes somewhere right here. I don't remember where that goes. Open up and see. Yeah, see there's a bolt right there that don't need to cut through. But this, again, is multi-pieces. Fold the zipper back the right way. It has, you have a piece on this side to the zipper. You have to fold it, do a zipper, sew to the zipper, fold it back over to the other one. Same thing here. Those go around that way. This is angled from the factory, so I did the exact same thing as the factory. You got welting on the front and back. So there's a lot before you start doing your own seats. Measure. Because you may order, even if you order the same material 2 weeks later, it come off a different bolt. That bolt, sometimes you said it, say I'm doing this seat, this piece is off one and this is off a different, you're gonna tell the difference. It might not look a lot, but you'll definitely notice.
Like the brown box.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought for my own truck end of bolt material, and I went to 4 Joanne Fabrics just for this because it looks like the original material with a brown color. It was cheap, so I bought it, and it's 3 different styles. So of course that's not getting. Let's see. Okay, that's the original. Now all it is, and they're not too bad, right? It's a piece of backing board. I cut all new boards, and this was all stapled on. Sometimes fun getting a staple to go into it right, but that's real simple.
So does the back of that staple, does that flare out?
Nope,
Flare out?
they're all straight in.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they were.
Oh, it's just straight in?
Yeah, it's straight in.
So how does that keep from poking through the other side?
It doesn't. Because their staples aren't as long as you think. I mean, if you really push on it, yeah, you can feel them. But the reason this is stapled, these clips go in.
Right.
And that clips in there, and it's holding against the seat anyhow. It's not going anywhere.
So those clips just slide
Yeah,
in
yeah.
after you've already got that in?
Yeah, they just slide into the hole. I didn't want to puncture them through anything. That's the back of the bucket seat. It's the front bucket seat over there. Any other questions before I rip that one apart and do it? Yeah.
What kind of board is that?
What kind of wood? Oh, that's just a panel board. It's a waterproof piece of cardboard is what it's called. But
What
it's called panel board.
panel?
Yeah, it's an Essence. Well, I don't know about Essence. Like Miami Corporation, any place that deals with upholstery, you can go online and look up. Will sell panel board. It's usually 4x6 sheets, or the smaller piece. The smaller pieces they'll ship. The big ones they usually won't ship because it costs more to ship than what it's worth. I think it's like $28 a sheet. And like this, I did 4 backs out of one sheet.
That could work for a headline. too.
Yeah, well, yeah, it could. It's a little bit thick. Getting it to bend might be fun. Well, it depends on what you're putting a headliner in. If you're talking about a Scout, I don't think they make it quite big enough. But a pickup like that, getting it to curve would be. Well, yours is a flat. Yours is a K, right? Yeah.
It's got a curve.
Yeah, a little bit curved. Yeah, that would probably work.
What's the thickness of the board?
Not much. I don't. They just sell in one thing now.
It's standard though.
Yeah.
Board,
Yeah, it's just a standard thickness. I mean, the new stuff's a little bit thicker than the old stuff, but you can't find different thicknesses. The new stuff's black. I don't think I brought a chunk of it.
What about the one table that you have?
That's the thing. Well, let's see. We'll pull the rest of the stuff out.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
If you
you do it, say you do it in the back, or you want to do a back and something like the one you just put together over there,
Yeah.
same board.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you go about attaching it without messing up your stuff?
Well, the seat would be the seat would have to be done different. It would have a piece of welding all the way along the top and straight vinyl down the back. And it's the same thing. Instead of hog ringing, see how I hog ringed this all the way around? You'd hog ring it in the center, down here somewhere in the back half would hog ring to it too. It's just, there's another, let's see. I don't know if we can see it under here or not. Sometimes you end up, you'll hog ring, see that there's a metal strip right here? You'll hog ring this instead of this side. You come down here and hog ring it first. Then the back half gets hog ringed to here. Sometimes you'll just have two pieces of wire and they hog ring together there. Just depends on how the original seat was designed. But yeah, it's the same one, so yeah, you hog ring, the first one gets hog ringed to there, then it gets hog ringed around it. And let's see. What else do we got? The console stuff here. Huh? Yes, I was emptying the bag. There's a bunch of extra stuff for you there. This is just the base of the seat of the console. This goes on really easy, but it needs glued. Now, the original console, I designed this a little different because I knew this truck was going to be used. Most of them did not have a strip across here, and where these arms come through at was just a small slot cut. So what I did was double folded everything over, did a separate stitch on it so when little kids hit against it, pull on it, it's not getting tore up. But I also did the seam across here, where it's at, is hidden under the back, so you don't see it, except when you flip it down or tip it around. So this could be done on a factory original seat with the right material, you just wouldn't see it. And I said, this is very simple. You slide both of them through, work it down over to where it's supposed to be. And I said, I left a little bit edging for you to trim off and stuff when you're all done somewhere. That goes down over. You stretch the front, and I said this is the other thing with older materials. It's a lot harder to do this stuff because you don't have the stretching material to do it. And once it's in place, you sit there, you work it out, and this was originally glued. I didn't do any of this gluing on. I did have his seat, but I know he probably wants to paint any of this before it's all glued on. If I would have glued this on and he wanted to paint these areas, right now he just shoots it. But all it was is that this was, you stretch it, this was all with contact cement. I cleaned all the glue off of it. You can tell where the rust was around it. But all you do, put it down like that. Same thing in these corners. I would clip it. What I use binder clips a lot. The little metal binder clip. When I'm sewing, most people use needles and pins. I'll set the whole seat up, putting the edging on. I'll have binder clips all the way around. Just run through the sewing machine, pop them off as I come to it. Once in a while I sew over one. And then you gotta cut the threads. But yeah, this just glues down on. That it all depends on how your seat was originally done, is how you reattach it.
So if that was permanent, would you have put any kind of adhesive on the foam?
No, they didn't have it from the factory. You can, but we're in this. No, and the reason I wouldn't do it is these are all old trucks. Most of us will keep them for a long time. 20 years from now, or even 10, you want to change your material and redo it, you're going to have to replace the foam because that's glued to it. And it's the bucket seats were glued, and I'll show you what. But you have to re-glue part of them, and they're a little fun getting apart. But that's how that turned out. Did you like that, Mr. Bay?
I do.
You weren't here for the whole thing?
I got the tape.
He's taking.
Oh, you were taping. Okay. I was going to show you the differences in materials.
No, we're good.
Okay. Okay. This might be the next. That's a piece of rubber which we don't know what we're doing with yet. These Oh, yeah. The original seats, the original bottom of the seat had a piece of rubber with wires through it and hog grain to it. They're all disintegrating. What I was discussing with Marty, I think he should put a piece of plywood in the bottom. It'll work, but I'll show you. Okay, well this was the console piece next. This I'm not going to show you the whole way because I have everything laying in here. But this is the base of the console. In the 60s, trucks and travel walls, when they used the console, they had vinyl on it. In the 70s, they just painted. Now, all this does, as you can see, there's corners cut in. There is an ashtray in here. I didn't know if you wanted the ashtray left, so I didn't cut it out. I just drilled the rivets out when I did it, so you can go without it or put it in. But all this does, it slides up on from the bottom. That I got too much stuff in here to do it. But it slides up on, the bottom is the same thing. It was folded over and glued, and here was folded over and glued. I cleaned all the glue off for you, so you don't have to worry about that. But I did the same thing. I didn't know if you wanted to paint any of it, wanted to paint the bottom, put new carpet in it, paint it. I didn't know what you wanted to do, so I didn't.
Great. No, that's good.
Yeah, it just, I said it does. You can look, the front is taller, so it just, you can tell which part's the front. The big V's go at the top, and I even think I wrote. No, I didn't. Your other one has front and back here. Okay, put that back in the pile. It was just nice to see, I did this set of seats and it had something to do with the tech docs on. And these are different that you don't usually see. Some of the ways they're attached. And I'm going to go over a little bit. Jeff can go do my judging. Okay. When's the next one? 12 there. Okay. We got a little bit of time yet. And we'll show you quickly how the bucket seats go on. Okay, that's the two fronts, the two tops. Okay, here's the bottom. This is what I was talking about. This was glued on. This foam needs some work, as you can see. But because of the way this seat rolls up, the original one did not have the quilting work in the middle like I did on there. The same thing I did on here. So this has half-inch foam in the middle and nothing on the side. So that helps on this seat. And this is where, on this seat, this piece of rubber was in the bottom. And I think you just cut a piece of plywood and put in there, and that'll take care of the whole thing. You put a couple eye bolts or something into it, hog ring it too. Yeah, because that's going to keep, what this piece of rubber originally did, was it was across the whole bottom there. And when you sit on the seat, it wouldn't cause it to go like that. As you see, you're pushing out the bottom of this type of seat. So some seats just need something different changed. These were, I did not think this was original in the seat, but we now know there's 4 seats with the same rubber. This was, what did I find, made in Canada or China or something. It was
something strange.
Yes, it was, and foreign patent, yeah, I can't quite read it, but it was something Vietnam. It was something really strange place this was made at. But since we know they're in more than just the 2 seats. But same thing. You'll get the seats usually inside out. Flip them all the way. Make sure the welding's all sticking up good. This is actually where you might not even have hog rings, because they originally had elastic around the bottom. Now, the other thing is, if you have, you never know, shipping, the elastic might be all bunched up. You got to straighten it out. There's 2 pipes here. It drops down over. Mark it down into place. Stretch it over. The only thing you try not to do when there's quilting or any kind of foam in it, you roll it outwards. If you would roll this way, you're going to put a crease in the foam, between the foam and glue, and that crease might stay there forever. Yeah. She messed up. She helped me on one.
It came out.
Yeah. I was working on a bench seat, and my sewing machine has a gap between it and the couch. And the way it was working, it was starting to roll the wrong way. I had her holding it on the other side, and she, of course, just flipped it over on itself and folded it the wrong way. But yeah, that was, I caught it fast enough when it came out. But as you can see, I said this, you might just leave it like that, or hog ring it a little bit somewhere. But as you can see, this one had the indentions like this. Now, because this has foam in it and this doesn't, we're almost perfectly level seat, which I did purposely. You said your other one's going to be a little bit of fun because it doesn't stretch, and you're going to have to shoot some kind of
The
glue.
other one is in better shape than this too.
Okay, so that's going to help. But what I'd recommend, put it on first, and then if you have, I don't know, some of the glues come in spray cans, or if you want to get something like a rubber cement that you can roll down in there, but it's going to take, you got, the original seats have welting in here too, which goes down into this groove. So it's, I said, in the center you have one type of material or another here. You really have to work them, install them with the original material.
I've seen seats that use Velcro to hold it down in there instead of glue, so you can pull it apart. One Velcro strip is glued to the foam, but now you're not ruining the foam when you take it apart.
That might work for you.
The Velcro has a small thickness to it, so you might want to put an indentation there if it's going to show.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to take some
So
experiment with that.
Velcro holds one of my seats at home in the narrows. That's held down in between the bolsters that way.
Yeah. Did you see this just flies right on? I mean, it's great. You have a lot of stuff to carry out.
That's it?
And just because
This one worked out perfect. He had his seats, I had a little time. He brought his seats, then I brought them. Okay. Now we'll quickly show put the back on, and that'll be it, unless there's questions. But these backs are the same thing they were originally glued on. And same thing, turn all the seats inside out first if you get someone like me. Hopefully most people, if you have someone do them, are going to have them inside out like that and wrap so they're not destroyed. But you see this? There's two tubes on here. That's how the back and the front attach. It slides down on, and there's two screw holes that they screw together. This one is very easy too. It just drops right down on. You look to make sure your welding is in about the same place the original one was, curves around the side. Make sure you have everything out from under it. Now this one is a little strange, and you remember this when you do it. This welding, this was attached, with hog rings. There's little grooves down here. Hog rings are not flat. They always stick one point one way, point the other way. And something like this, take two pair of pliers and straighten the hog ring up. Because you're going straight across from each other. And if not, it's not going to catch that hole. And you're going to have to, this is one that you have to actually sit there, might have someone helping you, hold down like this, and you can fold it up, look where that's at, and just grab it. Same thing going all the way across. The bottom's easy. The back on this one, this one you probably won't have to glue inside, just because of the way I did it. And it was glued back here, so this is the same thing. You end up spraying a little bit of glue on it, and you just work the corners down. But as you see, it lays perfect. The same thing with this. Well, I said, let's finish that. You glue that in, and the back snaps into it. It's really, these are things that you wouldn't think of if you're sewing the seat yourself. You would think that's just a straight piece of material. Well, this piece of material here curves, has like an S to it, to get it to come around and lay in flat. Because if you just if you just took a straight piece of material and tried to curve it, see what happens. So it's a lot of little details. Any questions? Good.
How do you know that record is still being made?
You don't. You have to call a place and see if it's being made. If you have something within 10 years old, it's probably being made.
It's the Wedgewood blue.
Oh,
The plaid.
that the white,
Black, and blue.
man, I know someone that has it that I just made for them, who actually made the wrong one. Yeah, the plaid, I can still get, the vinyl, I'd have to get remade, it's a slight bit off, but yeah, they do make it. That's what, 79, 78?
78.
Yeah, because there's a guy here at the board who say all like that. Yeah, that stuff, the material, there's a place in Michigan who had some of that in stock, and I think that's a nice size.
Okay.
But the vinyl, what I have is just a slight bit off.
Yeah, I don't really like the vinyl, so if we switched it to mine, it's just the plaid that I like.
Yeah, they still make that plaid. There's 3 different kind of plaids in the Scout. So what you have,
And there's
then
a green brown one, right? I
Yes,
saw
that's
this.
the-
No, this
No.
is blue.
there's blue, well, there's 2 different blues. It's more of a black, it's darker, instead of yours is more white. It's a more black and blue with it, they make it an orange black and white. The older stuff, there was checkered different stuff. Yeah, the plaids is just that. Yeah, Hyundai has a nice same sample. If anyone's looking for vinyl, no clue what you're looking for, go on to Miami Corporation. Just type in Miami Corporation. They're out of Cincinnati, the main headquarters. They have probably 300 or 400 different color pictures online of what you can go. You can type in blues, whatever. But go, I said, there's places they'll send you samples, but go down the side, look at vinyl and look at auto. And they'll have pictures of every color match. And you ask them who requests a sample, they'll send this. You never know. It'll look one thing on the computer, it'll be a little bit different. They'll send you like a 2 by 3 inch piece. You can actually hold up and test, hey, this is what I want, whatever.
How do they compare